Good morning, guys. Hopefully you're all well. Happy Friday, end of the week for the trading week for me, and also the end of the quarter and the month. So quite a bit to talk about on a few different charts. If you see the title, it did say we're going to cover XRP today, mainly because we've been talking about a really high time frame trade setup on XRP for a while. So we're going to revisit that as we are getting some material price action that's worth talking about, right? So hopefully you guys are enjoying the content and have been taking note of the levels as they've been absolutely fantastic. Max, anything to say before I jump into the charts?
Oh, good. Crack on.
Business as usual from Max. Not much to say. All right, guys. So I'm actually going to stop sharing my face for this because I think it does help out with the video quality. So don't mind me disappearing for just a little bit. This is what we had drawn up from yesterday. We didn't have very many levels on the chart. If you notice, we really are working off of this box here that we need to clear. We'll get into the high time frames and talk about that. Previous week open was the support, and you can see that this was at, one point, the point of control of this entire range. Okay, and so you can see that it was serving as good support until it wasn't. Then you got some bounce around. We targeted the gold pocket and the point of control down here, the two high volume like peaks right here inside of this range. And what we had said was this is a really nice bell-shaped range for now, and that we were getting, tailing volume at the highs and lows, giving you a very well-balanced range, also giving you a very neutral outlook, meaning that you could have bought and sold the highs and lows of these ranges quite a bit and made a fair amount of money. Now you are putting in what inside of a range is usually something that you would want to see if you're looking for any kind of continuation, is that you've put in the range, you've swept the lows, and now you've put in a higher low potentially. So what you need to see is Bitcoin start living up here at resistance and putting pressure on this old supply zone essentially. And if that happens, we can start looking for potential breakouts, right? So that's the maturation of this range. And if it breaks higher, we have our targets. The targets aren't a secret at this point. We've had them for quite some time. We would be looking up into the 29,873 up to 30,169.50. That is your next blue box. And then you are looking up after that. I believe if we break this range to the upside, this is a reactionary level. Again, we're just going box to box here, guys. We're not doing anything fancy. We've done the hard work, identified the areas that we're most interested in. And, I shouldn't say that's the hard work. That's actually the easy part of it. The hard part of it is not involving yourself in price action that doesn't matter. Like in this whole region of the chart, we had one level yesterday we'd be looking for, and even that had a potential bounce zone all the way down to the value area low and this old horizontal level at 27,202.50. So you had a zone here that you should be, waiting on, looking for the reaction at. If you're not available to take the trade, you could always try presetting, but it's very difficult to do that successfully long term. So I don't really advise for that. So if you miss this low, which came in for me about 2 in the morning, I certainly did miss it. If I'm not at my trading station looking at everything, I'm not going to trade it. So yeah, it would have made a really nice trade. You've reached the value area high and this key level right here on the daily and weekly time frame. If you guys recall, this is our breaker level right here at 28,487, which rounds out the bottom of this box. Okay, so you can see this is where buyers have been failing to push the price higher. However, you are now seeing buyers keeping price from rotating back to the lows here and putting pressure back on this level. Does that mean that price is going to break it just because it's done that? No. Where might we be wrong? In the sense that we think that we're probably going to come back all the way to the bottom of the range again around this 27,202.50 and take this overall current daily low at 27,456.50. But for me, just looking at the chart, not even having looked at order flow, so Max can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I would say the previous week open and the current daily open will be a pretty good gauge of that. So if price does reverse out of this resistance and we see the previous week open loss in that daily open, I am going to start looking for potentially taking this daily low would be the play. Now you do have the, I can hear the maid service getting around. You do have the potential of this right here being the previous day low acting as support, which would be an ideal case for bulls. So you might mark it, but it may offer up a nice trade as well, just on an intraday basis. However, for me, if we start making our way back down to this region, I certainly won't ignore this level. I will, though, kind of set my sights lower towards the bottom into this support, maybe even lower over time if it pans out that way. So still trading the range for what it is. However, interesting things going on going into the weekend. I don't trade weekends, so I won't be doing too much. I try not to get into that too much, but sometimes on the weekends, price does do with the new change in direction of price. Since we're off the lows here, weekend price action has actually been a little bit more bullish rather than bearish. Ironically, when price was coming down from 69K and 50K and 40K all the way down to its current lows, weekends were for dumping. They were dumping on the weekends. So that is just how it works out. The trend is kind of the dominant force there, and that's what was going on. So that's really all there is to say. Next targets are up here at 30K. However, you guys know that if we break through this level, while I think this is a nice reaction area to take some trades off of, I'm actually eyeballing a full range rotation on Bitcoin at that time, back up into this area of the chart to rotate towards these highs, where this is your quarter one low, and then this is the old point of control right here of this consolidation range. Lines up very, very nicely with the local high right here from when we were dumping to 25K back to 32 and some change, right? So don't really think it's too necessary to go through that price action, but you certainly could very, very easily right there and right here, right? So you can see there is your range that we're trying to get back in. That's our current resistance. Let's get rid of this. So you can see resistance. There's our POC of the range, some naked point of controls. We have some horizontal levels there. However, what do we do when we find acceptance back into range, especially after consolidation? We look for that push higher through the range, usually to the range highs. And that would interest me the most. And that also gets us back to that, again, quarter one low from 2022 and the local high of that series of price action, plus the point of control of our consolidation over here from when we were making our way back over in this region before 69K, but also setting in a good range, so that's what I would say. So I don't really have anything else to add on Bitcoin. I'll talk about XRP after Max does his order flow on Bitcoin to keep everything kind of together. So Max are up.
Okay. Let me get you off. Okay, so yeah, today's been interesting. I've taken 2 longs. I regrettably didn't take a short, but it was because I was in a long at the same time. I was in a short from here. I was in a short from here yesterday, which was pretty neat. But obviously, I don't hold my trades overnight. Personal preference. In fact, it made the low high. I was like, I'll just jump out when it started to come back up over here. So yeah, there's that. And then today I was trying to trade the weekly open. Where were we? Let me go back on the 5 minute. It was here. So the weekly open was in this section of the chart. It's the indicators coming through now, but it was the weekly open, daily open, I believe. You had a few levels here, and I took the long. It was a questionable one though, so I reduced my position size. The reason being, so the entry triggers for me were red, green, PVA. It's a reversal signal. And if we go into the order flow and look at it in that section, you can see you had a couple of things. Tons of shorts entering at the lows on a green candle. So what does that mean? They've clearly done an absolutely awful job pushing price higher, but the delta switch up just was not there. You've got minuscule here. You couldn't even break a mil. So minuscule delta switch up, but the entry was there. Then it even came back and back tested where the longs had entered. Shorts had entered the top of them. You can see it here, and didn't let them out. So for me, it was a short trade, but I pretty much within 20 minutes knew I'd fucked it when we couldn't even break the lows from here. So when you reject from, this is low time frame market structure. But things like this are ways that you can kind of tell, the trade's going to go against you if you just traded into it. So the fact that we rejected there, that would have been the better short to take rather than take this long. Even though it was an area I wanted to long from, looking at it in hindsight, the short would have been better on the rejection. But I just moved my stop loss from where it was right up. And yeah, it got me out pretty quick. But the move down was so strong, it was pretty fast as well. And then what do you have at the bottom? Let me make it this and go over to this chart. And easy trade, gold pocket from the low to the high, red green PVA, reversal signal, and you had not position changing hands. It was just an absolute washout of longs. Finished auction, another a bonus. You can add that onto your list. Honestly, it should be a checklist when you're taking a trade of the things you see, and then maybe when you see 3 of those things or 4, however safe you want to be, you can then take said trade. So finished auction, red green PVA, delta switch up didn't come initially, but you've got 2 million here, stacked imbalances. So there's your proper delta switch up. Because when you get a low figure like this, I like to see it as it's stalling. It's stagnant. It doesn't really know what it wants to do. But when you get over a mil, over 2 mil, that's when I'd say you've got your positions changing hands quite comfortably. And then you got your stacked imbalances there. So sweet trade. Another regret. I didn't hold it. Because where did we come up to? The weekly open. I don't know why, but the weekly open for me, I just thought it was going to be so key. And not the previous week. I've been watching the actual week, and we were just straight up rejected from it. And at that point, I was like, okay, we're rejecting from the weekly open. It's not a good look. And it just immediately blasted off afterwards. So, hindsight's a bitch. But it was still a profitable trade, and I'm always sat in spots, so it's always good. And then you can see here the move up. For those that watched the stream I did the other day, and we went over Ethereum. We went over Ethereum, and we looked at the order flow, and we went over what goes into being a strong trend. You want CVD up, which it kind of is here, and you want open interest up, which it is here. So this move right now is pretty solid. It's pretty strong. You've come to the golden pocket. You have rejected for now, but the high itself isn't all that. You've seen delta switch up here, but it's gone back into stalling. So it's a rather difficult one to say where we're going to go initially. But the fact this little high that we've got here is weak and this trend is so strong, I haven't really seen a reason to jump into a short yet. And even on this candle here, where you've got this huge negative delta, the open interest isn't really there with it. So what it kind of tells you is there may have been some selling here, but it most likely, the majority of it was collected by another bidder. And if we go to the lower term timeframes, we can probably even see it. Let's have a look. Where was it here? Oh, some shorts, actually. So you had some can't really tell with this delta here. It kind of just had a load of positions selling on either side, shorts and longs. So then you had some shorts jumping at the bottom, but with some positions changing hands, because 3.8 million on 1.7 would have been selling and shorts entering. So a lot of positions, quite a few positions change hands there, and some shorts have entered. So yeah, where their stop loss is going to be, it's probably going to be at the high. So for me right now, I'm not going to trade against this trend until I see a really good reason. I want a few more things on my checklist ticked off, and that's what I'd recommend to everyone. We've not really got any single prints here. Closed out the single perfectly earlier. So yeah, got absolutely nothing on the TPO standpoint. I've been looking at this because I know we went over it the other day. How close we are to flipping the point control to being up here. It's pretty close. I know it's the last day, but we've still got a fair few hours. So if we zoom in again, 241 is the amount of millions in this, what am I at, 40 tick, $20 tick range, okay? 241. Up here, where the highest one, it's 216. So if we come back down and linger around 28,100 for the rest of the day, there's a pretty high chance that the point of control could flip. Now, Magic, would you say that is bullish or bearish? I would say it's more bullish if the volume point of control flips up here, because then it means to me we've not got the whole range to cycle if we start losing some levels.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. I would like to see it flip up. That would be good. Kind of we talked about yesterday, if the range would rotate up a little bit. but we'll see.
It's really
You
not
know,
far. It
that'd be
really is.
ideal.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I've not really got too
Okay.
much else to go over.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Let me get my XRP chart up here and we'll rock and roll. I'm going to go ahead and add the timestamp now so I don't forget. And it is in there. Perfect. Look at that. Look at us being all organized. Isn't that nice? Anything for you guys. There we go. All right. Whoa.
Inception.
Let's get, yeah, I always forget it does that. Let's go over to XRP. I wanted to cover this one because it's come into some key areas of resistance that we've actually been covering for quite some time. So let me find it inside of the old shitcoins folder. Hopefully that doesn't upset any of you, but that's where all of these reside. So it's not just XRP, but I have XRP in other folders too. So if it's too difficult to find in here, we'll just look through this one because I think this one has fewer layouts, and I know that it's over here somewhere. I do believe this is it. I do believe this is it. And of course, I don't have the level that I want on here. So we're going to go out to the quarterly level as we're closing the quarterly time frame, correct? What we were looking for was quarter one low, if you guys recall, right here. I believe it is it this one? Yeah, this was the one we're looking for. So let's go ahead and make this white so it's easier for everyone to see, and we'll label it the quarter one low, right? And that is a quarter one low from 2022. That is the level we need, 54.61 cents. Okay, so this is the current low that I would like to see claimed. And you could really just box this whole region off. You could just say this is all resistance or support. And when you go down to like a weekly time frame now, you can see very simply, this is a nice zone that if flipped, we're going to see higher prices, right? We have a nice setup available to us, and I don't have the what I'd like up there, but we'll go ahead and redraw it. So this is a fresh chart for this. This is not the one that I thought it was, but that's A-okay. We're just looking for this right here to play out potentially. And it's equidistant for anyone that is curious. That is a good thing, meaning that the time it took to go to the high and the time it took to go to the low here of the structure is identical almost. So very, very nice. And the target of something like this is generally the back test of the B leg. So we've been talking about getting back to the quarter one low here at 54.61 cents and treating this as a range, as it's been a very good range to trade. But you should be looking for longs here as long as 29 cents is holding. This is a zone to be looking for buildup of XRP. I've been talking about 29 to 36 cents as a buy zone for XRP since the summer of 2021, all the way back over here. So it was very, very clean, very easy setup. Now we're looking for this to fulfill into this zone all the way up here between 87 cents and $1.03. So if you want to just call it $1 even, you certainly could make the argument that this is going to be the region on the chart that we're looking for. There are horizontals on the bottom and top side of it. There's some sirens going on outside. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but this would be the zone that I'm most interested in seeing back tested. I would be curious to see what the volume profile of this looks like. Yeah, look at that. Right above it at the horizontal, right around $1.09. That is going to be your point of control. That is actually, if I worked up a different chart on this, which I'm pretty sure is underneath my Bitcoin YouTube charts, I've gone through ATAS and actually worked out the TPO values and the overall volume values. And $1.09 is the global point of control for this asset, considering all price action when you're using ATAS software. So $1.09 is very material. Or if we get rid of this now, we can actually take a look at it on like a monthly time frame. You would need to clear these local monthly highs right here that are untested. So you can see that you broke down from these, back tested them, broke down from these, did not back test the monthly open, and same with right here at the yearly open. So you actually have a 12M level potentially right here, right? So you can see that this is a yearly level. So 82 cents is going to be a very crucial level just beneath our target zone right here. I think a wick into that area is certainly warranted and could very well be done. then you're going to want to start seeing life above 82 cents, or at worst case scenario, this is a take profit zone for me on the trade. This was my first take profit area. We've been trading this as a range ever since, taking incremental profits at these highs, saying if it comes back, I'm willing to buy again, potentially if support is there. And then we're looking to take it back up to this zone here between 82 cents and about $1.10. I would just call it $1.09 being the most important zone for me, to be honest with you guys, given that that's the macro point of control. And I don't have that on this one here, but that is the macro point of control. Also lined up really nicely with the prior point of control we just talked about right here. If you guys recall, just one more time for everyone that's watching, this is your descending triangle on the breakdown. Also coincides with where the most volume was done at $1.09 for this asset. So I am still looking for that move. Nothing has invalidated the harmonic that's at play. And so that would be the play for that. So that's how I'm looking at XRP. You could very easily toss like a pitchfork on this if you wanted to, because we have a valid harmonic here. And you could very easily say that I would be interested at, a valuation like this. And you can see that there is our resistance right here, meeting into this region at the very first lower band of this channel, which goes back quite a way. So let's hit the space bar. So that is XRP in a nutshell, guys. Gotta have 54.61 cents. Would love to see it start closing, daily, weekly candles above this resistance and getting that push up. I don't really look at the order flow of XRP. With most altcoins, I don't. I just chart them for the high time frames, and I buy and sell when it makes the most amount of sense. And it's just made the most amount of sense to be buying in this region of the chart right here. So that's what we've been doing. We've talked about it on Debate Crypto. I've talked about it on Sin City. We've talked about it on this channel. So there really should be no questions about what the overall plan for this coin was. We may make memes and laugh at, the army because like they say ridiculous things, but this coin trades like any other. So it is nothing special. It is nothing different. It abides by the technicals. It's not manipulated. It's all a crock of shit. So don't listen to people that tell you that. They're probably not the most well-informed people to be talking on that subject if that's the case. So yeah, I don't hold XRP like long term. I'm not into that. I'm into trade it. And this was an excellent opportunity to get in on a trade for those that were playing the high time frames and diversify away from Bitcoin a little bit to make some extra money. So that's all we're doing here. So quarter one low, 54.61 cents. Got to have it. If we can't have it and it remains range bound, you have a very easy and simple range to be looking at, just like so. And you can see that coming all the way back down to like 38.40 cents. This little zone of support would be ideal if you got a retrace here, right? If there's a retrace, I'm buying this gold pocket most likely at support with the point of control just beneath it. This would be the area of interest to me right here, which is an old monthly level. And it's the EQ of our channel that we had put together for the range. And I think that would be a favorable place to be looking. So let's see how old that monthly is. It's not that old. You probably need to move this one down to the POC. So then I would just box it off like so. I would say this is your buy zone right here. If I can get this to work, there we go. That's where I'd be looking to put any new positions on potentially if seen. And that's between 40.36 cents and 37.65. However, at that point, we have to see what Bitcoin's doing. Got to see what the market's doing. That would also be a back test of your overall trend that it's trying to establish right here. So not the end of the world by any means, but that's the next tradable region for me from a long position. Otherwise, I'm looking for the SR flip of this level if I'm not in a position and I'm looking to ride it up to some of these higher targets, right? So that's on a more of a breakout basis, but back tests do happen and they're usually pretty clean if they do. So that's it. That's all I've got on XRP. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. I don't really have much else to say. Let me check in with the chat real quick here and see exactly what we've got going on. Bring Max back on screen. He's got to look up from what he's doing. He's on his phone. He's not even listening. He's like
instantly zoned out the XRP talk.
Oh, you were just talking about you wanted to trade XRP not that long ago.
And I did.
And here I am. Do I only spot trade poo coins? Yes and no. I will add like some leverage. Usually it's like 2x if I do on an altcoin. Like my Matic short was 2.22x I've taken some XRP longs in the past that were like 2x, but I don't do anything with high leverage on altcoins. I'm just not going to get too far into that. But a lot of times I do just trade spot, and a lot of the XRP that I accumulated was spot position. And I'll take a portion of it and probably expose it to some leverage at some point if I'm confident in the move. I'll do something like 1.5x or something. It's not crazy. And they all have preset, take profits. Rarely do I just let these positions ride. They're always closed out at the targets and then back into spot if I want to keep it, or I convert it to Bitcoin or other assets I want to trade. So that's how I treat that. But there are 24 of you in here. We've been going for about 25 minutes, 37 cents. I'm long from 27.5K. Good for you, man. I'm glad you got in on that. I believe that's close to the gold pocket, if I recall. Yeah, that was the gold pocket right there at the point of control that we talked about yesterday. Congrats. Good job. Looks like you're going to get that 29K. I think we've gotten pretty close, 28.714. So it's right there at the 28.7, 26.50 June 22nd low. So edge of the box, right? We're at the edge of the box, which is, good for bulls, I guess. So we'll see if we get that break up. If so, I'm still long from 16.6. I'm not in any shorts. So it is one of those things where is what it is. Yeah, I don't do order blocks. Just not my thing. A whole lot of Fugazi in that whole thing. Too much what's the word I'm looking? Too much subjectiveness for me, like how you identify them and trade them. There's no like proper system in place, in my opinion. So I don't care for them too much. I don't know what asymmetrical compound trading is. I don't care to really have to like look into other methods when my methods are working for me. So if that works for you, definitely look into it and do it. But I don't do asymmetrical compound trading, whatever that is. If I do it, I don't realize what it is. So, all right, guys, I'm going to end the live here and enjoy some of the nice weather that's actually rolling into Boston. So, it's been cold here, so I'm going to actually go for a run outside, see if I can't meet the people and enjoy my time a little bit. But I am in and out of the Discord. I am keeping an eye on things. Like Max and CVO are doing a great job of keeping you guys abreast. And there's a lot of activity going on in the chats about your guys' trades. And I love it. RP says, because I don't know what that even is. Let's not get into things like that, RP. Let's be somewhat tactful with our language if we could. But yeah. All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Smash the like, leave a comment if you're watching it back. Even if you didn't like the video, let me know what you didn't like. We can always improve, of course. Oh, you're talking about, yeah, so you're looking, so before we go, he's talking about risk to reward. Do I look specifically only for setups like 1 to 3, 4, 12, 1, 3 risk reward? Yeah, you could do stuff like that. I personally don't because I day trade quite often, but for those that are swing trading, this is not a bad way to go about it. And there's a guy in our group that only wins 23% of his trades. And he's profitable because he only takes 1 to 5 risk to reward trades. So that is something you can certainly do because then you don't have to win as many trades to be profitable. And that's not a bad way to go about it because when you take wins, you take large wins, right? So not bad at all. You just have to identify those in advance and be ready to set those up. And you still have to have risk control over it. Like that math only works if you're still using a specific amount of risk, like 1 or 2%, depending on what the formula works out to. So the math still has to math, as you guys have heard me say before, but that's not a bad thing to do because it teaches you a little bit of self-control and you only trade when it's convenient to you and properly like in your it's only advantageous to you, I suppose is the best way to put it. And it also helps you recognize you're going to lose trades. You have to have a stop loss, all that stuff. So do I recommend it? Yeah, I would actually recommend that to a lot of newbies. I just didn't realize that was the word for it. But yeah, I know asymmetric means uneven basically. So like one side is heavily outweighs the other. But compound kind of threw me off there. So I would say asymmetric reward trading. Yes, that's what you should be doing is looking for risk to rewards where the reward definitely outweighs the risk in terms of like swing trades. It's harder to do on a day trading side of things because intraday trades are just so much more, the wins are smaller and they're quicker trades. So sometimes you'll catch yourself only taking like 1-to-1s or 2-to-1s at times. Like 1-to-1s don't interest me too much. but you'll get like 2-to-1s, maybe a 3-to-1 on a day trade. Occasionally, if you get the perfect entry at the perfect time, you can squeeze out more, especially. Those are there, but you have to have really good timing and not be afraid to pull the trigger when that opportunity does present itself, because it will probably disappear fairly quick. Rarely are they going to give you like a 5 to 6, 7-1 trade on a day trade. It's probably going to be at that point, whether it's a low or a high, for only a few minutes at the most, and then it's going to start moving in the opposite direction. So that's generally going to be like a swing trading strategy, but it's certainly not a bad thing to do. So all right, guys, I'm going to jet on that note, and we will catch you guys on, I won't be here on Monday because I'll be traveling. That's when I'm heading back to Kansas. Actually, I will be here on Monday because it's in the morning. So that's not true. I will have a Monday morning live stream with you guys. And then Sunday, we have our member stream at 2 p.m. And we're good to go. All right, guys, I will catch you guys later. Enjoy the rest of your day. Don't forget it's the weekend. Go spend time with actual people, not just with the cryptocurrency charts, and have a good